welcome back to my channel. My landlords are upstairs doing work on the vacant upstairs apartment, so it's currently less noisy than it has been, but it has also been very noisy throughout the day, so sorry. Yes, I know, I disturbed you. I know. So today we're going to be doing a packing vlog. However, I thought it could be fun. I'm a hobby girl through and through. First of all, my name is Laura. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I'm 31 and I currently live in a small town in northwestern Ontario, but I'm moving to Toronto with a layover at my parents' house. Okay, scene set. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of like give you a hobby tour. That sounds kind of absurd, but like it's also how I've been describing it in my head. So the first hobby, I have been a reader since like literally as long as I can remember. The Christmas I turned 5, I got Laura Ingalls Wilder, Little House in the Big Wood and Little House on the Prairie, and I've been reading chapter books ever since, and I have been a voracious reader. Obviously, I think most readers experience a lull in university because you're reading so much. It's like basically impossible to focus on fun reading, but with that exception, I have been a reader my whole life. I love reading, and I don't like digital books. I will do it occasionally for like a biography or a memoir or like a nonfiction book or some fantasy books as well that I don't think or like really hypey books that like I want to read because they're part of the current zeitgeist, but I also am not that interested in reading repeatedly. But for the most part, I am a physical book person, and I have an entire big bin of books in my parents' attic, which is part of the reason I'm doing a layover at my parents' house for a few reasons. Partly my hip. I had hip surgery in August and I'm just not quite ready to be in Toronto. And like not have a car, need to be taking public transportation, walking a lot. I'm just not quite there yet. And it's gonna be Christmas. I don't know when I'm gonna get paid, stuff like that. So yeah, but my first hobby is reading. This has been, I guess, the hobby of my life. And I don't even know, like, books are such a form of escapism. And I have one of those brains where I picture things and like I give the characters voices and stuff like that, which I know not everybody does. And I'm sure that makes reading a different experience, but I'm actually not going to be packing up my books today because I'm going to have a going away party next Saturday, and I just don't want the main room of my apartment to look super barren for people being here. So we're gonna do this next Sunday. So my newer hobby is needlepoint, and I think I've talked a little bit about needlepoint before, but I started needlepointing during the pandemic, and I have 2 on the go. I ran out of blue thread for this, and then I need different gold. What I have isn't quite thick enough. I've been doubling it up, and I'm gonna just burn through it. But I've been really enjoying this. It is an expensive hobby. Like the canvases are all hand painted, and then you have to buy the canvas, buy the threads, stitch them, which is my favorite part, and then either send them off to a professional finisher to turn them into something, or learn how to self-finish, which is, there's cat hair on this already. Terrifying because you have to cut into this thing that you've spent so much time and money stitching. But I have been really enjoying this, and it and reading saved my brain and my mental health whenever I was like completely down from the hip surgery. So, and it was really great during the pandemic. So this is from Pip and Rue that I have on the go at the moment. And then the other one that I ran out of thread on is this one from Penny Lynn Designs. But we're going to start packing these. We're gonna pack today my needlepoint, my sports equipment, and my scrapbooking stuff. So that's my mom got really into scrapbooking whenever we lived in Tennessee, and my sister and I got into it as well. I scrapbook in a way that's like kind of in between like the junk journaling trend that kind of got popular earlier this year, and then like the really professional formal scrapbooking. Like I love to include, you know, boarding passes and like scraps of paper and like stuff like that in the scrapbook, as well as pictures. But I don't like, I use the, you know, plastic protective layer. I scrapbook in a 12 by 12 rather than just a notebook, like, so that kind of thing. But we'll get more into it as I show you. But book tour at the end of the video, and I think the first thing we're going to do is the needlepoint. In an ideal no hip surgery world, I would just sit on the floor, but that's not where I'm at. Also, I got a haircut, which is going to introduce some continuity errors, which is going to introduce some continuity errors into this moving series. However, I don't care. I'm so glad my hair is cut. It had gotten way too long, way too scraggly. So, I've said a few times that I don't really believe in purchasing packing materials. So, I did make an exception for this bin. My scrapbooks and my needlepoints are not something that I'm willing to risk getting damaged, getting water damage, etc. So what I have done is I'm hoping that I can get all of my scrapbooks, things that I want to scrapbook, and at least completed needlepoints and needlepoint canvases, and maybe threads in here. And then, you know, if I have to put some stretcher bars or stuff like that into a bag or a box, like a cardboard box, that's fine. But just the things that are done, like this scrapbook or these needle points that I've finished, I don't want to risk these getting ruined, so I'm gonna put them in here. This drawer is full of craft supplies. So I have the needlepoint ornaments that I finished so far. This is a Penny Lynn Designs Ralph's coffee cup, Morgan Julia bar cart, Pippin Rouge champagne bottle, and then an Eva Howard Designs. And I'm going to get an acrylic and put this in the bottom of it, and then put like bar napkins or cocktail napkins in it. This I'm actually going to leave out. This is not needlepoint stuff. So I work for organizations that serve Indigenous people. So last year for Remembrance Day, we did a project at my old employer where we were beading a poppy for Remembrance Day. So I actually and I haven't finished it, so I'm going to keep that out, and that's going to be my craft for the next few weeks. These are supplies for finishing. I'm going to run out of space. And then this is a canvas that I've stitched but haven't finished. That's from Morgan Julia, and then this you can't get anymore, but it's also Morgan Julia, and it's a Casey Musgraves reference. This is another canvas that I ran out of threads during, and these are canvases that I finished but haven't stitched but haven't gotten finished yet, and I think that's because these are ones that I think I'm going to have to get sent away. So I think this is going to be a sunglasses case, and then this is a key fob. This is Morgan Julia, and this is from, I'll put it in, but it's based out of Tennessee, hence the magnolia. And then actually I chose this because the whole reason why I was interested in needlepoint is my granny was a big crafter, and she did tapestry, and she left this unfinished. And because I'm a horse girl, I now have it. And so I would really like to finish it. And I think my next task is going to, whenever I live in the city, there's a needlepoint shop, or like a needlework shop in Mississauga. And I think there's also one north of the city as well. But I'm gonna take it in there and see if they can help me figure out how to finish it. The thing that I'm worried about is that I need to rip out her work to finish it. And I really don't want to do that because I would really like it to be kind of something that we did together. But it is very stretched out. I wonder if she had it in a frame or not. It doesn't really look like it. It's gonna require a lot of blocking, that's for sure. But yeah, that's why I kind of picked Needlepoint of all the different needlework hobbies that were possible. And this is definitely going to go in here. So I think what I'm going to do is put the scrapbooks in first. This is one of the only complete scrapbooks I have in here, and it's like my exchange. Uh-oh, we need to do some repair work in here. But when I went to Spain and then backpacked around Europe, and I do already have a needlepoint in here, so. This is an album I bought for like my university stuff, besides my exchange and my sorority stuff, because they're gonna have their own albums, but I don't think it's my taste anymore, which may be appropriate but this is my sorority scrapbook, so it's not done yet. But I think we're gonna have a lot of fun being like super pink, super girly. You can see where I've like planned out the layout for the next few. Okay, that took up a lot more space than I was anticipating. I think the next thing that needs to go in here is my very first project. This was my very first needlepoint. I bought myself a kit for Christmas, or like in the Christmas sales or something like that, off Etsy, and I'll link it below if it's still available. But I keep this on my bed so it's full of cat hair. And it came with absolutely everything you needed, which I think was a really good way for me to start, because there aren't a lot of needlepoint finishers in Canada, and I have not yet been brave enough to post a stitched canvas to America, which is where most of those finishers are. So it worked. All I needed to buy was the pillow insert, but it came with the threads, the canvas, the velvet, the piping, everything. And it's not normally recommended that new stitchers begin with such a big project. It's normally recommended that you start with like an ornament, you know, something this size. And like even that, because it has so many different colors, can be a bit complicated. So something like this, where there's a few colors, you don't have to switch threads that often, stuff like that. So, and like I did fancy stitches in here. So it's not normally recommended that new stitchers start with something so big, because it can get frustrating to be stitching for so long. However, I liked that it gave me a lot of, I didn't feel like I wasted it, because it gave me a lot of space to learn how to stitch. And it came with, like, it's designed for new stitchers. It came with a lot of instructions on how to stitch, what kind of stitches you could do. It was a really, really, really good first time project. So I would really recommend this to a first timer. And it gives you instructions on how to turn it into a pillow. And then all you have to buy is the pillow insert, and I got that at Michael's. So I've been really pleased with this. It's worn really well. It's wool, which is a harder wearing material. So I've been really pleased with this. This is a cording maker. I got this off Amazon, and it's how I made this. So you hook your colors in, and then you twist all the colors individually, and then you twist them together. It's so cool. It's so much easier to use this than to try and DIY. It's so much easier. Okay. And then I think I'm gonna fill in the top with scrapbooking stuff. Yeah, like stuff that I want to scrapbook, which actually I have some in here. That is going to be the stuff that makes the cut for this bin. Let's see if I can lift this. Okay, probably shouldn't be. You will hear me say again in a moving vlog. I kept this big box here. Where of packing materials. So I think what I'm going to do is really, okay, actually no, I have a fair bit of scrapbooking stuff left. Let me get it all out. This is chaos. So if you want an example of how insane scrapbooking can be, I have 2 boxes of stickers. This is all like decorative stickers. And then this is stuff from my first New York trip in 2018 that shows you how far behind I am. And then this box is exclusively, and it's heavy, letters and numbers. And I think what I'm going to do, and then these are paper cutters. And then these are the sleeves that go into your scrapbook. A ton of those. Okay, oh no, that's not one. And then decorative paper, decorative paper, decorative paper, page protectors, cardstock, and decorative paper, and then cardstock and things I want to scrapbook in that. So what I think I'm going to do is see if these guys will fit in here. So put saran wrap, you know the way like you see movers wrap furniture, saran wrap these 2 together, put them in a bag, see if I can fit the 3rd box, because it's taller, in the bag with them, put that in a bag, and put the thing that I just showed you with all the cardstock in a bag. But step 1. And then this is the curtain from this room, or one of them. And if I can stuff that. And then this is the closet where I've been putting everything I've packed. So I've got my boxes. The blue bag is the bag of books that was on the windowsill in here. So that's the only bag of books that I've packed. That's my printer box. Sorry, that's my printer box. And then that black thing in the corner is a trash bag full of moving like old blankets and duvets and stuff that I use to cushion furniture whenever I move. In terms of craft supplies and like oh, my sports equipment, we have to go to that. Okay. I have no clue how to pack a tennis racket. Actually, maybe we might do my pickleball stuff, but I might. So how I move, hang on, we're gonna be mobile for a second. How I move this mirror is that I empty out my laundry basket. I put 2 pillows in it, and then I slide this thing, I put a little exit tape, and then I slide this thing down in the middle, and it keeps it upright, which is important for moving glass, and I've just found it works really well. And I might just stuff my tennis racket that I play with, and then these tennis rackets down in each side of that. So we probably won't pack my tennis racket today because obviously I'm still going to be using my laundry basket for the next week or 2. But I did go ahead and just take my tennis racket down so that I don't forget it because that closet's almost empty. And then my pickleball stuff, I'm just gonna put over there. So the only scrapbooking stuff I have left is this cutter and this thing. And I'm going to be honest, I need some time to figure those things out. And my hip is really sore. And I'm going to sit on the couch with an ice pack, so I will pick this back up next Sunday after my going away party, and we'll pack up my books and these things. We are back in the following week for the closure of the hobbies tour, and I had my going away party last night. As you can see, I'm also in the midst of filming my Undecorate with me, and honestly, I was a bit torn about whether or not the books should go in the decorations or in the hobbies, but I do think they are truly a hobby. My parents are going to be here on Friday. Oh my god, there's so much to do. Bugging is like, that's such a retro word. Like I don't think I was even born when that was like actually slang, but it's truly like, bugging is so appropriate for how I feel right now. But let's get into it. This is one of my favorite home recipe books. If you don't follow Paula, you absolutely should. She is based in the north of England somewhere, and everything she does is gorgeous. Every outfit she wears is gorgeous, every interior she designs is gorgeous, every cake she bakes looks gorgeous, and just perfect. This is one of the best books I have ever read. It's based in Seoul in Korea, and it follows 5 women, I think. It's been a while since I've read it. I should read it again. And it talks about plastic surgery culture and sex work and work culture and feminism, and it's kind of like you just stepped into their lives and then stepped back out again. Like, it doesn't really have a resolution. It's literally, yeah, like, it's literally like you walk into their lives one day and then you experience their conflicts and their troubles and their highs and their lows, and then you just step out of their lives again. Whenever I first read it, I was quite disappointed by the ending, actually, but the way this book made me think is so fantastic. Excellent book. Cooper is a Vanderbilt, like, of the Vanderbilts, and he wrote a book about the history of his family, and it's fascinating. And with that is the conclusion of my hobbies. And when my books are packed up, that's when it's real. That is when it's real.